and industrial buildings which are rented out to generate income. Some are actually managing office building. I have a manager who's managing the head office of Samdabi Group. There are about 700 people in the building, so he's managing the building. Okay, I have a manager who's managing an integrated development in Malacca, Hatton City. Where there are about 2,000 plus owners in the whole building. And I also have a lady who manages Dataran Pahlawan, Melaka, Mega Mall. That's under us as well. And it's a lady who's actually doing it. So property management is very dynamic, and it's equal opportunity, offers equal opportunity to everybody. So today I got a simple slide, if you don't mind me sharing. Now, if you don't mind, I like to flash it on. If you allow me to present, okay, I think I should be able to, right? Can you help?
Yes,
can you allow?
Yes, you can share.
Can, okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Okay, hold on. Hold on for a moment.
Sorry, Severe.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 3 dots at the bottom. You can see the 3 dots at the bottom. If you run your cursor.
Oh, here.
To the bottom, then you see 3 dots. Okay. You see present now. Present now.
Yeah, I clicked that just now. It came out different.
Oh, left the meeting. Oh no. Okay, while waiting for Survey Adzman to rejoin us, maybe it's a line. Is the line not quite stable? But I can do. Wait, while waiting for him. Wait, let me just tell him. You cut off. $47. Okay. Oh no, this isn't. Oh, we're having a bad thunderstorm again this afternoon. Yeah. Now, I think 2-3 minutes from now we'll have a very heavy thunderstorm. Anyway, hopefully Survey Adzman will be able to join us shortly. Okay, still waiting for him. Okay, Survey Adzman. What I can do is I can present. If you say now, then I click to the next slide. If that's okay. You are on mute, Survey Adzman. You're on mute.
Okay. Let me try to see if I can present. Okay, there you are. Share. Okay, can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, well done. Okay, thank you.
Good. Okay.
All right, so let's continue. Sorry about that interruption just now. Okay, now, basically this afternoon, I'd like to just share with you some ideas or some insight on the career path for real estate graduates. That means when you actually leave university, this could be a possibility or an opportunity or an option for you to look into. Now, property management profession, I think a lot of people have probably been hearing a lot, of talk about property management in Malaysia, how it has to be done professionally and also by the right people who are registered with the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Estate Agents, and Property Managers. Now, before you reach to that level, of course, you have to finish up your education at the university, and after that, of course, upon graduating, then that's where the opportunity is. Okay, right, let's move along with the first slide. Now, I'd like to just share with you what Gurjit Singh. Gurjit Singh is a very, very distinguished practitioner. He wrote a book, Property Management in Malaysia, 1996. And he was also actually involved in a lot of, I would say, iconic developments around the world, especially in Middle East and Singapore. He's actually a Malaysian. Now, I think it's not back in Malaysia yet, but he's still in Dubai. but he's very involved in a lot of major buildings, especially in terms of property management. So what he shared was that he said that the day man decided that it was profitable for him to give authority to another to take possession and occupy one of his dwellings, he realized that there was need for some sort of action to ensure that the occupier complied with all the provisions permitting his occupancy. That form of action was management, and the activity has since then taken its place as an important activity in sustaining the value of operational property assets. So basically what they're trying to say is that you you actually have a building and you allow people to occupy the building, whether as a tenant or whatever. By form of that action, basically, the person will be managing that building. But in the real sense, for us to ensure that the building is actually operating at its best, we normally will actually get a third party or somebody who's competent to manage the building. Okay, so this was actually a statement made quite a long time ago. That was like, my goodness, 1996. So it's about 24 years ago. So long time ago. All right, now let's talk about the purpose of property management before we start talking about the opportunities. Now, the purpose of property management firstly is for the maintenance and management of property and facilities. And then after that, property management also ensures conducive and safe environment, whether it's actually a living quarters or office building or even a workplace, in terms of industrial or commercial. And then, of course, to preserve the image of the owner, and last but not least, to earn optimum return on investment. So when somebody buys the property, what he or she expects to do is to generate some income. So for the owner to earn enough to perhaps cover his expenses, pay back the bank for the loan that is taken, and also to show some profit. Normally that will involve management, a proper management of the building, and property managers normally will have a KPI to make sure that the building is in good operational condition in order for it to be safe and also conducive for people to work in there, and for the owner to have a good image. And at the end of the day, with the good management, there will be good return on investment as well. All right, let's move along. Okay, what are the type of property portfolios that we have? Now, if you look at the market now, I'm sure you are familiar with residential properties. And now, residential properties involve high density stratified housing. We're talking about apartments, condo, and you also have gated and guarded communities. And then, of course, you have commercial properties, which involves high-rise commercial and office blocks. We also have industrial. Now, in Malaysia, lately, there's a growth in industrial properties because of the online business and a lot of demand on logistical infrastructure. So there are a lot of stratified flatted factories which are cropping up. Okay, and they are very hot in the market. So if you were to go to Penang or in Klang Valley, everybody will be talking about, oh, do you have industrial property? Even yesterday, I had an inquiry. Do you have 2 acres for somebody to set up industrial plant? And this is where the market is going at the moment. Okay, retail involves shopping complexes. Normally, shopping complexes have got their facilities like car parking. And also you also have hypermarkets, and what we normally call hypercenters would involve hypermarket with mall built under one roof. And then the fifth, we also have leisure properties. Leisure properties involve theme parks, hotels, resorts, etc. So all these are being managed by professionals who are actually quite familiar with running a theme park. And you also have institutional, sports complexes, club houses, and training centers. So all these, in fact, are actually the type of properties which people will buy, acquire, and hold as investment, or even occupy it themselves. Okay, so this is where, in fact, owners will actually have different requirements depending on the type of the properties that we're looking at. Okay, right. What about the employers or clients? Who are the owners of these buildings? Now we can look at two types of employers or clients. It's either public sector or private sector. Now, if you're talking about public sector, we're talking about local authorities. We have the valuation department, and also we have perhaps state agencies and economic development authorities, and we also have the government-linked companies. Now, if you're talking about private sector, we have property management firms, we have property development companies and public estate companies, we have banks and insurance companies, and even we have even the real estate investment trust and fund managers. So when you look at who are actually looking for employees, you can see already there's a vast opportunity out there, both in public and private sector. All right. Now, let's talk about what property manager is all about. You see, a property manager is a person who has to do a lot of things, and they, over the years of working, they will try to build up their experience and also their skills. And what happens normally is that a good property manager will eventually become very competent and responsible, because you're giving the person the responsibility of managing a property, and to run a property or to operate a property requires various experience. Okay, and of course later on I will just go through the areas of experience, but for the time being, on the soft skills, coming under criteria, property managers need to have good common sense, and also proactive attitude. This is very important because most of the time we need to anticipate things before they happen. For instance, it's a simple thing as perhaps you walk down the corridor and you see a wet patch on the floor. A lot of people say, oh, it's just a wet patch, leave it. But somebody with good common sense and also proactive attitude will see that particular patch of water ponding as a risk. What if somebody were to walk across it and slip? He might get injured. What if a pregnant lady were to walk down there and slip? There'll be a lot of issues. So basically, with good common sense and proactive attitude, we can avoid those kind of situation. All right. Now, next, property manager also needs to have high integrity and trustworthiness. You see, when the client trusts us with the building, they trust us to handle the money part as well, and also making sure that the building is in good repair and well maintained. So all this needs a lot of trust, and a good property manager will always be highly regarded if they have this. And then after that, good PR and tactfulness. A lot of property managers do very well because they can speak well, they can interact well, they can communicate well, and of course when they speak also they are very tactful. Sometimes you can be very direct, but when we actually look at the successful ones, they have the gift of the gap. All right. Now next, the property manager normally will possess good leadership quality. Of course, you're not born with the leadership trait. Sometimes some of us have got to develop it, but this goes along when you actually get more experience and you spend more time working. And of course, at the same time, to become a leader, you need to manage people. So this is where the people management skills is very important. Okay. And over and above the rest is to have appropriate education, training, and after that to get practical experience. So basically, if you look at what you have to do here, you're almost a jack of all trades, and you have to be master of all. All right. So when you want to become a property manager, you need to embrace all this and to make sure that it's part of you. Now, in terms of areas of expertise, when I talk about jack of all trades, you can imagine when you are dealing with the property, there are a lot of legislation. Okay, a lot of knowledge and skills that you have to acquire in order for you to be able to be a good property manager. So if you look at what I put on the slide, the first thing that normally a property manager will want to know about is legal knowledge. Okay, now a lot of people have probably come across the Strata Management Act 2013, and a lot of people are not so sure why I should be learning about this, you know. But this is actually the basic legislation which governs strata property management. And a lot of people, they want to become building managers, but they are not familiar with the Strata Management Act. So this is an area, in fact, that property managers must be aware of, and also at the same time try to look at the management aspect, management and maintenance aspect in the legislation. I can tell you now, Strata Management Act 2013 actually acts like a property management handbook for property managers and also for owners. Okay, look at contract law 1950. A lot of people are not familiar with contract law, but this is exactly what we have to know when we are actually supervising service contracts. You know, like for instance, if we are appointing cleaners, or appointing security or pest control, all these people are actually your service contractors, and they are governed by a certain contract. Now, if you have knowledge of the contract law, it's easier for you to handle all this. And there are also other things like property management standards. And this is what the board has come up with. I'm not sure whether you have covered this. This particular document is produced by the Board of Valuers, Appraisers, Agents, and Property Managers.
We cover,
and,
yes.
Very good. And it is actually a compulsory or mandatory document that a property manager must be aware of. Okay, secondly, financial knowledge. A property manager has to have some financial management knowledge. Why? Because every month we'll be looking at the accounting aspect in terms of the collection and also the expenses that is being incurred in the cost of operating the building. There are a lot of things that we have to look into, like for instance, risk management, how to actually look at the valuation aspect of the building as well. For instance, after 5 years, all strata buildings require to be revalued for fire insurance purposes. So for that purpose, the property manager, with the knowledge of valuation, because the person has studied a bachelor's degree in urban estate management or property management or real estate, he or she is able to work out the value of the building and to estimate what would be exactly the need for fire insurance. We call it the fire insurance valuation. But with this knowledge, it's easier. It's easier for you to be to look for insurance quotations and to make sure that the building is insured adequately. Okay. Thirdly, administrative skills. This is the part where we actually have not come across much when graduates come out. A lot of them are not so familiar with these admin skills. You know, for instance, all property sites, property or development sites actually have individual owners if it's strata, or if it's not stratified, if it's en bloc ownership, they also have tenants. So when you have tenants or individual owners, there's always this responsibility to either collect maintenance charges and sinking fund or collect rental from the tenants. So basically, if you have, my goodness, in some of our sites, we have 2,000 plus owners. So if you don't have a proper property management software, it's very difficult for you to issue invoices or manage the site in terms of the expenditure, in terms of communicating with the owners. Now, technology has taken up quite drastically, especially the last 9 months. Ever since we have the CMCO starting in March, we have relied a lot on technology in property management. So this is where I think the skill has to come in. And even office management. You know, a lot of people are not familiar with office management. When it comes to take over the office, they're not so sure how to go about it. So this is where some proper training will allow them to understand, okay, when I take over an office, I take over a site, I need to learn a few things, you know, step by step. For instance, where are the records being kept, for instance? Where are the filings for certain documents? You know, where do I look for reports? Where do I actually look for the accounts, the audited accounts? So a lot of these things are very important when you come in, but whilst you are managing the property, there are also issues like handling complaints, writing reports, you know, and also making sure the monthly meetings are done, the annual meetings are done. And this is where the administrative skills have to be polished so that we don't overlook. Okay. And next is, of course, technical knowledge. Now, this is where when we actually come out from university, some of us are only academically trained to know about building. But when you start to manage a building, there are a lot of things for you to look at. If you are looking into a new building, there's not so much problems. But if you have a 3-year-old building and above, there's always some structural problems, technical problems that you have to come across. So you need to learn. To how to actually look at all these technical issues, and also how to manage it well so that the health and safety of the occupants and the visitors and the users are actually looked at. And there's also issues about maintenance contracts. You know, a lot of people know that there's cleaning to be done, there's security to be done, but in actual fact, for us to make sure that it's done well, how do we look into it? So of course you have to agree some terms, terms with the lift contractors, for instance. The lift contractors do the maintenance of the lifts. So inside the contract says that they must come once a month or once a week, and they have to look into certain items. This month they have to look into probably the controllers. This one, they have to look at the cables and try to actually lubricate the cables. So there are a lot of things which actually falls under technical. And in actual fact, it's not saying that, I'm not saying that the property manager must know exactly how to do it. Actually, to be frank with you, the job of the property manager is to manage the resources that we have in the team. So that means in the team, there is a group of people with different backgrounds and skills. And it's the property manager's task to actually manage them. That's why when you look at, for instance, you look at a certain repair to be done, you might not be the expert for it, but you have a technician in a team who is able to do it. Okay. And of course, there are other systems also that you have to look at. For instance, visitor management system. I think some of you may be living in condos or gated and guarded communities. You would have come across the requirement to register before you enter into the development, into the building. And basically nowadays, it's so advanced that normally if you are coming, let's say you're coming to my place for a visit, okay? In my own development, we have this visitor management system whereby I can actually now generate a QR code for you before you come into the building or into the development. Now, what you need to do is to extract that QR code from the WhatsApp. And when you reach at a guard house, you just flash it. You know, you just flash it to the guard. And the guard normally will have a tablet, you know, to capture. Now, what happens is that in that QR code, you will have your name, your car plate number, type of car, color, and you also have, in fact, the name of the driver. Okay, so that's how things are very, very advanced now. So the property manager, in keeping with the trends in terms of technology, design, and management, you have to pick up all this technical knowledge. And of course, last but not least, operational skills. Now, this is important because of the fact that to carry out the operations, you must know how to plan your resources. Okay, and if you are doing strata property management, especially, you know, you are governed by certain legislation. So you need always to refer to the Act on certain matters. And at the same time also, if you are the building manager, you will also be looking at house rules, how to enforce the house rules on the occupants and the owners. And sometimes you have this problem of mediation, neighbors arguing, and also what we call boundary disputes. That means people are arguing about, hey, the fence should be here, not there. And sometimes people are extending into the common area. So the property manager will also have this opportunity to learn how to use his public relation skills, and they try to mediate and make sure that the parties mutually solve the problem. Okay. Now, next, let's see what the property manager can be doing. In actual fact, I already shared with you just now, right? That the employers or the clients that you'll be looking at can come from either the public sector or the private sector, right? Public and private sector. Now, that's on the part of the employers and clients. But in actual fact, if you were to look at the spectrum of involvement as a property manager, you would be able to see there's a lot of different things for you to do. I can share it here with you. The first one is property, facility, and REIT asset management. This is a fantastic area to explore. Property and facility manager, probably it's something that you're used to. But if you talk about real estate investment trust asset management, that's something new. Now, to share with you, our company has been managing a Salam REIT portfolio for the last 5 years. This is our 5th year. And we've had to manage, we have been managing a mall, a mall, a hypermarket, 2 hypermarkets, 2 office buildings in Johor, and 42 Pizza Hut and KFC drive-thrus. Okay, so it's quite exciting because our team will go down there to carry out inspections, annual inspections, and also when there's a problem, they'll pop down and have a look and see how they can assist the tenants. So basically, this is where you can see that by applying certain approaches and knowing how to manage the property well, it can generate better returns. So of course, the client's happier when you actually manage to actually generate more income from the property, because basically their job is to create profitability and wealth sharing with all the shareholders. So when you have the skill to do that, you will be sought after in the market. Okay, but of course, it needs a bit of time to pick up the experience and also the skills. Now, secondly, you could be doing investment planning and market study. A lot of the property managers are also managing land banks. That means the company, a development company or fund or actually investment company sometimes would buy land banks, vacant land, vacant development land, and they would like to develop it in the future. So what happens is that normally they will get their property manager to actually look into this. I was actually late, I think mid-90s, I was actually working for a public sector company as a planning manager. Actually, it's supposed to be property manager, but they put me as planning manager. And my job was to carry out market studies on the land banks. So that means if there are, sites that are ripe for development, I would be required to carry out what we call a highest and best use study. I'm sure you have heard of HABU, right? HABU.
First year, first sem.
Sorry?
First year, first semester.
Oh, okay, very good.
Yeah, they should know this already.
They should know. So basically, it becomes a very important skill, that I've learned in university. How to carry out the HABU. And I discovered now that I'm running my own firm, for HABU, you can really make a lot of money, charging fees for the study. And a lot of people are looking for this skill. So a property manager having this kind of skill would be so valuable to any organization, especially related to real estate. Okay, and then of course acquisition of property and due diligence. We've helped a number of investment funds and REITs to acquire properties. So what happens is that they will inform us, okay, we are interested to buy this office building, but we only know how to raise the fund to buy the building, but we don't know what's wrong with the building. And we need to find out if there's anything wrong with the building. So the property manager's role is actually to put a team together so that they can carry out due diligence or investigation before coming up with some recommendations to the client whether they should acquire the property or not. So this is one of the skills that a lot of property managers have as well. So basically, when their employer or their client wants to acquire a property, they will step in to carry out this due diligence. So this due diligence involves financial, building technology. They also involve legal. They also involve basically contractual. So there are a lot of things that have to be investigated, and this is very interesting because I've done it so many times. If I'm not mistaken, I've already done 8 buildings due diligence where we actually go right to the bottom of the building, checking on the structure, checking on the electrical, the M&E. But of course, I'm not an engineer. I will go with an engineer. So the engineer is the one who will explain to me, okay, this is what we anticipate will happen to the building. So my job is to learn, what exactly is the impact of that on the purchase price, or to use it in the negotiation. So that's something very interesting. I love it. I did that a lot. And development planning, building design, and space planning. This is interesting. Like for instance, yesterday, I spent two and a half hours, presenting to the CEO of SP City on one of their planned shopping malls. So they have a fantastic team of people with architects and all that ready to tender out. That means they want to start the construction of the building. But suddenly they pull the brake and say, hey, now I think a lot of things have changed in the retail market. Let's get somebody to comment on the mall. So yesterday, we went through their architectural plans. It took us 3.5 hours to complete the discussion. So we looked at how the mall is actually designed in such a way that it might not be suitable, to attract people. The car park has a problem. The main entrance is not where it's supposed to be. The escalators are put somewhere which is not correct. The shop front for the shops, which are meant to be grand, are too small. Nobody will rent. The ceiling for the supermarket is too low. So a lot of this basically is also some knowledge that we can build up, to create value in our ability and our what we call professionalism. Okay, these are the things that we can monetize once we have the skills. Okay, project management and coordination. This one also, property managers are always involved in this. Yes, they're supposed to be managing properties only, but a lot of us end up managing projects, and we coordinate with all the consultants on site. Well, of course, at the end of the day, what I suggest property managers to do is to allow the project managers to do their job. For us, we monitor them and we actually make sure that everything is done according to the client's requirements. Okay. Now, next, tenant mix and budget rental proposal. This is where when we look into item number 7, when we want to do marketing and leasing of a shopping center. Okay. Normally, it's quite specialized, but a lot of us now do it. As I don't know whether I mentioned earlier, our company manages 3 shopping centers. Okay, 3 shopping centers. And we are now embarking on the leasing of 2 major shopping centers in a time when, wow, we don't know what the future holds. But by doing some planning and actually putting across some strategies to look at tenant mix, and also when you are bringing in the tenant mix some food and beverage tenant, or you're bringing in some fashion tenants, or you're bringing in some services tenants, you will know how to estimate the budget rental. Now, the property managers are good at this. Okay, so this area, together with marketing and leasing, is a bit more specialized. So some of the property managers, like myself, I ended up last time doing advertising and promotion. I'm not sure whether you know advertising and promotion. Advertising and promotion means I have to organize events in the mall. You know, from a property manager, swap into an admin and advertising and promotion manager. So it was quite a challenge, but it made me understand. It made me understand the customers, the visitors, and the tenants' behavior. So we have to work with them. We have to work with them so that we can really understand what are their expectations. So all these are very interesting areas that the property manager can master. And then, of course, number 8, procuring necessary approvals, permits, and licenses. Now, if you're working for developer, this is the job of the property manager. Okay, the property manager will ensure that the architect prepares the plans and then sign it off, and then he will ensure that it's submitted to the local authorities for approval. And if there's any amendments, he will also make sure that it follows the brief. You know, that means the requirements that the client has put across to them. Okay, so they have to follow very closely and make sure that everything actually jives, synchronizes. And of course, building operational management. That's quite normal for us to do lah. Okay, we are building managers. We could be also center managers. We could be facility managers, and we could also be strata property managers. And you know, at the end of the day, that is within the ambit of the scope of work of the property manager. And last but not least, property managers also get involved in divestment of property and assets. That means when you are actually selling the property manager is the first one actually required to work out what would be the best way of disposal, what would be the value that should be asking in the market, and who should be the target purchasers. Okay, so if you look at what I've shared with you, this is not exhaustive. This is not exhaustive. There's still a lot more work that a property manager can get involved in. Now, all this comprises of different sectors which the property manager can get involved in. Now, I can tell you, I can share with you now, I've been in every one of them. And but you can't compare lah, because I've been in the market for 31.5 years. So I've been there for a very long time. And basically, when you look at the areas and the experience that you can get, you can only get it if you really want to explore the opportunity and also push yourself, challenge yourself to the level that you feel that would be what we call the maximum that you feel that you can deliver. And there's always the sky, which is the limit. So do not limit yourself. Try to see what would be the most interesting part for you. And when you start to look into the job market later on, you can be actually considering all these areas. Okay, right. Next, so who are actually the current practitioners? So basically, some building owners actually appoint in-house managers. So these are also your potential employers. Okay, people like Petronas, for instance, they will actually employ their own in-house to actually run the operations of the building. And you also have property management firms. Okay, property management firms. Now, prior to 2018, I would say there was only probably about 1,000 plus. Yeah, 1,000 plus registered property managers under the board. Okay, but in 2018, the board decided to liberalize and open up and offered to the market those who have been doing 5-10 years experience to come and get registered with the board. So now we have almost 5,000 registered property managers. So this is what the industry needs. But for us, in actual fact, we need a lot more than that, because Malaysia is a growing market and growing with a lot of developments. And there's a lot of opportunity for the future. So what does that mean to you? It means a lot more job opportunity. Okay? All right, next. Now, what actually is a problem actually when we look at the market now? The challenge that we have at the moment is there is lack of structured training for property managers. Ever since 2018, a lot of people have come in to register. Now, mind you, most of those who come in 2018 are those not from the degree in real estate or property management or urban state management scholars. These are actually open. This was actually open to people from different backgrounds, even from with the background of SPM only. Okay, so all these people have learned the trade through their working, but a lot of them have not had any structured training. So basically, now the board is starting the probational property manager scheme starting 2021. So basically, with this, there will be there will be structured training being arranged. Now, my organization, MIPFM, is in fact coming up with some of the structured training for next year, and hopefully we will be able to give a bit more, I would say, polishing or skills training for those practitioners who have not had this structured training before. Okay, now what else is happening? Clients now are actually expecting property managers to do a lot more. That means if you are actually previously probably doing just rental collection, every month you collect rental. Now they expect you to be able to use technology, okay, to actually record the collection and come up with a accounting report, within a short period of time. Now technology has helped us, but the problem is that now competency in technology. Now I can tell you a lot more people who have got their license now are very senior people. I would say majority of them is about 50 years and above. So that means the competency requirement might be a bit more challenging for the seniors, but that doesn't mean that they cannot. We cannot get them to learn this. But the idea is always to look at the opportunity whereby the youngsters can learn this, as part of their education, and when they enter the job market, they have the mindset ready to actually use technology to actually expedite the work and make it better in terms of performance. Now there's also this change in mindset towards culture of responsible property maintenance. Now I can tell you in Malaysia it's always about money as well. A lot of locations might not have enough collection or enough budget to actually do a lot of property maintenance. Now for those dated buildings which are aged of probably 8-10 years and older, there's always a lot of attention to be done, but most of the time the owners of these buildings may not have the budget to do so. So if that is the case, then of course the property manager has a very challenging time to manage the building, because he or she will always be facing a lot of breakdowns and a lot of technical issues and structural issues, which will disrupt the efficiency of the building. Okay. Now, another part is good experience in financial management. Now, a lot of property managers do not give enough emphasis on financial management when they were studying. So when they left the university, they hope that they can pick it up when they start doing property management. But the problem is that when you do property management, you are always caught up with a lot of work. And for you to learn something by giving some time to study or to look into it, to learn it, will take a lot of effort. So I would encourage you, at this stage, whether you're in year 1, year 2, or year 3, give some emphasis on the financial subjects. Okay, that will help you to actually put your mindset towards basically better understanding of the financial situation when you become a property manager later on. Even if you open your own firm, you will still have to look into the financial management of the firm. But if you are managing your client's building, you'll be collecting money for him, whether it's rental or maintenance charges and sinking fund. It's still something that you have to manage well. Okay. All right. Now, the other part is that a lot of people are so caught up working every day and trying to solve problems, troubleshooting, they forgot to keep up with market trends and issues and customer demands. Now, the biggest problem that we have in the market is handling of complaints. It sounds like a simple thing, right? Handling of complaints. But to be frank with you, it has become a profession. Now, like I said earlier, if the property manager has PR skills, they will be able to handle complaints well. But those who do not have such skills, they will get upset and they will get distraught because of the complaints coming in and they don't know how to handle it. So this is where we need to look at how we can actually handle some of these issues. Market trends, for instance, now more sophisticated. Now, if we don't keep up to date with the systems that are required in the building, then it's very difficult for us to operate the building. Okay. Now, lack of knowledge of the legislation. This is where a lot of people come to interview for position in my firm as property manager, building manager, or building advisor. When we ask them about Strata Management Act, they say, yes, we know about it. We know about it. But when they actually come on site and they start to have issues, suddenly they realize they did not spend enough time in college before to learn about the legislation. It's not to memorize the legislation, but let me share with you a secret. Now, Strata Management Act 2013 and the Strata Management Regulations 2015 is actually a property management handbook. Some or other, it started off as a book of act when it was before known as Act 667. It actually evolved into a property management handbook. It actually teaches you what to do if there's leaking between ground floor and first floor. It teaches you how to issue letters to people who owe money. No other act will teach you like that. But Strata Management Act has done that. And I have to apologize because I was actually on the committee to draft up the act. And unfortunately, we spent too much time. We became overzealous and we put too much in the act.
Sorry, Adzman.
Yes.
We do teach Strata Management Act, but then I'm the one who's teaching. I don't put much emphasis on the strata regulations, you know. So do you think I should start teaching them as well?
Okay. The act itself, when we talk about Strata Management Act 2013, it's the main book, right? It's the main book. But when you go into the regulations, that's where it's like if everybody knows about the valuers, appraisers, the agents, and property managers Act 242, right? And also we have the rules, rules 1985. Okay. Now the rules is the one which we are applying in our working environment. So it's the same like Strata Management Act 2013. We understand the Act 757, but when we are practicing on the ground, we are using the regulations a lot more. So I think, Puan, I would suggest that you need to cover also. There used to be two regulations. One is on Strata Management Tribunal regulations, and the other one is on Maintenance Management regulations. Now there is one more. It's called the compound. That means you'll be able to see what we call the penalties and fines that is payable. So I would suggest that you touch also on the regulations so that the graduates, when they leave, they know that it's not just the act that they have to read, but also the regulations. Okay. All right. Now, having seen all those issues, it's important also for us to understand that it is the fiduciary duty of the property manager, okay, to actually execute or perform their duties professionally. Okay. And basically, if we are registered with the board, if we actually get into trouble for certain misconduct, there is always recourse for the client or somebody who is aggrieved over it to refer it to the board of valuers, appraisers, estate agents, and property managers. So basically, there is the risk of being professional. They can complain to somebody who will take action against us. All right. Okay. What about future prospects? Okay. If you look at the number of buildings which are increasing at the moment for us to manage, definitely there is no stopping in getting property managers, building managers to work. I can share with you my company. Every day we have 5-6 people who are actually being interviewed online because they cannot come in person. We are doing that. But out of the 5%, maybe 1 or 2% will be suitable for the type of challenge that our buildings offer. And then you can see also that this career is very challenging with wide area of experience to cover. So you can choose whichever area that interests you. That means you can already start to specialize. You know, you don't need to know all that I put across to you just now. You know, but you can pick which areas which may be of interest to you. Now I can tell you now. Just to share with you a bit, I'm not trying to stir up, but I have to tell you, when somebody graduates and actually has a 1 year experience in valuation compared to 1 year experience in property management, there is a slight difference in salary I can share with you. So valuer, after 1 year, they're still struggling doing low cost flat valuation and a lot of other things. But they are actually compiling their experience now, doing reports, doing investigation, knowing how to value buildings and all that. So they have a certain value there. But because the challenge is not as much, their salary will probably be hovering below 3,000. Okay, probably anywhere between 2002 to 2005, stabilizing around that. It might not teach 3,000, but a property management graduate who comes out and actually really works hard and get a lot of experience, and within 1 year picks up a lot of things and become very capable. I can tell you now, you'll probably be earning 30% more than the valuer. Okay, but this is all depending on how the client perceives your expertise and the possibility of your performance and delivery. Okay, and of course, there is also opportunity to specialize in strata property management. There's a lot of condos now. There are about 20,000 in Klang Valley itself, 20,000 strata property developments which require at least one manager or building executive. So, you know, we only have, I was saying to you, 5,000 property managers, right? But we have 20,000 buildings. So I hope you can see the opportunity there. Okay, now I've shared with you with all the type of employers, clients that you can be seeking job from. So there is in fact a wide-ranging career opportunity in both private practice and also corporate sectors. So this is where I would imagine that you would be able to look into before you actually, start to perhaps make a mark for yourself, or maybe stay in one particular organization. Okay, there's always scope for you to explore both private and also public as well as corporate sectors. Okay, now challenges, you have to be prepared to have to work long hours if there's need for it. You need to be dynamic, proactive, as I already mentioned to you earlier. You need to get sound knowledge. That means you have to look into a lot of I would say training. If you can get a mentor to guide you, it's so much better. It will expedite your training. And you must be able to multitask. That means you have to juggle a few things at the same time, but it can be very rewarding for you at the end. All right. And then, of course, a lot of people don't like to be shouted at, but in property management, unfortunately, we get a lot of difficult clients. But again, the rewards are quite attractive. Now, last but not least, you have to know the market trends, and you have to look at the demands by the customers, especially in property technology. You have to familiarize yourself quickly in that area. Okay. Now, way forward, it's very important for you to become professional. So if you want to become a property manager, it's best for you to become a registered property manager to show your professionalism. So you need to actually go through the flow to graduate, and also to do your logbook, and after that to go for the PPC. All right. Now, it's a very, very important responsibility, that when you get into this area of work, and basically, if you're a registered property manager, you stand better chance of being appointed to actually operate clients' buildings. There are a lot of areas to explore. There are a lot of things for you to do. So you need to see how you can do that. And then, of course, there are a lot of other things which can be a bit more advanced. That means, areas which involve strategic management. And also, again, I repeat, property technology. And at the end of the day, there will be a lot of opportunities for value-added services. This will actually add on value and also enhance your competitiveness by having that knowledge. And if you have all this kind of knowledge in your hands, it's easier for you to promote yourself as being the suitable person to be hired. Okay. Now, food for thought. Just two statements from the former Prime Minister of Malaysia, Dato Sri Pak Lah. Okay. First one was made in September 2003. He mentioned that if we are unable and unwilling to keep things in good shape, then we cannot even begin to talk about becoming a developed nation. Okay. And second statement was made in 2004, about a few months later. He said that we have been building bigger and better infrastructure, but most of our nation's assets are kept well only when they are new. So that means what he's trying to say is that he is the one who actually announced the Building and Common Property Act, which requires the maintenance management of buildings the proper way. So he is probably, I would say, in Malaysia, Bapa property manager lah, at that point in time. He really saw what was needed. And I think from there on, a lot of us start to look into the importance of maintenance management of buildings. And hence, we actually push forward the importance of having professional property managers. Okay, so anyway, that I've come to the end of my presentation today. By the way, if you look at the books down there, I hope some of you have got those books.
I actually made, if I'm not mistaken, the current third year students to buy, but not the second and first. I think
it's so. Okay. It's better for the final year.
Yeah, it's better for them to have this because it's very straightforward. Very macam.
It's more like guideline step by step.
Q&A, something like that. Very light, lightly presented.
True. Okay.
Yeah.
So no problem. I just need to share something else. Before you actually start to pick any area that you like to go into, whether it's estate agency, property management, or valuation, always think about where you like to end up at. Okay. Now, a lot of people, they go into property management immediately and they did not actually get any experience in valuation. So sometimes it can be tricky also because valuation is basically when a lot of us open firms, valuation is always our rice bowl, rice bowl. But a lot of people feel that they are more comfortable doing property management, so that's no problem. But I have to stress here, when you do valuation first, maybe for 1 or 2 years, it's the best place for you to get knowledge and experience in carrying out work in real estate. It teaches you how to investigate about properties, about inspection, how to inspect a property, how to put a value to a property, how to find properties, and also at the same time, we are able to learn how to write good reports in good English, and also at the same time dealing with clients. So by doing valuation for 1 or 2 years gives you the basic real estate background. And once you are used to that, if you choose to opt out and do property management, estate agency, or even market research, with the knowledge that you have had from valuation, it will help you tremendously. Okay, Puan, that's my last sharing.
I think that's a very sound advice, everybody, because I would say some of the students are so traumatized, could be the word, traumatized by valuation because they learn so many difficult things during their 3 years here,
I can understand.
But it's not like that. When you practice valuation, it's not like that. It's not, you won't, every day you won't go into land acquisition, marriage value, you won't find that kind of things. You're just going to deal with the normal, normal property strata and things like that. It's a good practice for you to do first, I would like, Survey Adzman, I would like to open this opportunity for my students to ask you perhaps a couple of questions, because I can see somebody raising their hand just now. Who? Somebody raised their hand to ask question or something else? Any questions from you guys? Please take this opportunity to ask Survey Adzman.
I hope they're not confused.
Any questions? If not, I have a question of my own.
Yes, Puan. Maybe
Yes.
you can shoot
Okay.
the
Yeah.
first
Maybe I
one.
can start. Yeah. Maybe I can
Yes,
start.
please.
You say just now. From my understanding, yeah, property management is the skills required for property management.
Yes,
It's both soft skills and hard skills. Betul?
true.
Yes. So what is more important during the COVID-19? I want to ask because you know the immediate future is COVID-19, right? The aftermath of COVID-19. So what are the things that my students can prepare themselves with? Say they are third year students, only have 1 year before their internship. What can they prepare themselves for the post COVID-19 situation?
Okay. In fact, I would say that technology is one of the aspects that we have to pick up quickly. But the only problem with technology is unless you are in a working environment, it's not easy for you to understand the need for it. Okay. But what is good is basically you need to learn exactly now how to use technology, for instance, in reporting in carrying out your inspections, and also in communicating. Okay, that's very important. All this will help you to organize yourselves well, because you see, if you are actually joining a firm and you come in as a fresh person without any knowledge about technology, you can't even use you can't even actually use Word or Excel properly. It might take you a while because
Yeah.
everybody is already way ahead of us. Okay, so the other part is that the soft skills in handling relationships. The fact,
Complaints just now.
yes, complaint is one of it. Relationship is when, for instance, you are actually working from home. Okay,
Yes.
you're dealing with people. You don't see the person in front of you.
Correct.
You know, when they scold you, you can just switch off. Correct? But
Correct.
if you are actually on site and people come to complain to you, you can avoid already. But you need to understand how to actually take the complaint in and try to solve the problem. So this is a major issue. It also requires a bit of skill, like for instance, compromising by negotiating, all these are actually very important. I can tell you now, Gamuda actually approached me to do a few days course just on customer service,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
customer service for their property management team,
Right.
because they have this
Okay.
problem of handling complaints. To the extent,
To that extent.
they gave me a big budget, but
Yeah. Oh.
unfortunately, CMCO came in, so you say, okay, after CMCO, we come back. But now they have a
Yes.
big mess because people are complaining, they are working from home.
Uh-huh.
They cannot get, they cannot get the work done, So that's why technology is very important.
Yes.
There are things like, for instance, what we call property management softwares. A lot of property management softwares. If you can start to familiarize yourself, that'd be very good as well.
Or even the low-tech technology, you know what I mean? Not just the softwares, but using the free ones like Google Form or something like that.
Correct.
To your
Yes.
advantage. To your advantage.
Correct.
Survey Adzman, I can see one question here from Joanne,
Yes,
from Joni. Okay. Hi, Survey Adzman. As I know, building survey students also can be property manager. Wah, ni dah dengki ni. Can I know what is the market preference to choose between real estate background student or building surveying students?
Okay. For me, to be frank with you, after the opening of the market in 2018, the liberalization of the market, to have non-holder of degree in property management and real estate management, we saw that a lot of lawyers came in, a lot of estate agents, SPM school leavers, building surveyors, engineers, architects coming in to become registered property managers. Okay, so basically what I found was that some of them can rival the one who has the degree in property management. Why? Because they were very specialized and they worked hard to learn the skills
on the job.
On the job, yes. So basically, for us, in my own company, Exastrata Solutions in Berhad, I've got IR engineer mechanical. Okay, I have a few building surveyors. I also used to have one degree in actuarial science. doing admin.
Oh, okay.
Admin for property management.
Oh, I see.
You know, I think she was actually from UM.
Okay.
And then we have also a lot of people from different backgrounds and training. So for me, in actual fact, it's not so much whether they are a building surveyor or they are degree in property management, because a lot of people in the degree in property management will go into valuation or state agency anyway. You know, a lot of them feel that property management is too challenging because you get scolded but like I said just now you know, okay, let's compare the salary again. As I mentioned to you just now, I mentioned if 25-year-old, right? 25-year-old, they already earn 30%. But I can tell you, a 28-year-old valuer with 4 years experience, okay, could be earning like 3,000, 3,500, right? But a 28-year-old
Property manager,
building manager, not even property manager,
okay,
building manager could be earning 5,000 already.
Kan.
Amazing, isn't it? So basically, it's a choice, because you need to master so many skills in property management. Valuation, we can just rely on cases, right? But property management is about troubleshooting. It's about managing a team of people and to be responsible for maybe a building worth 100 million. So the expectation is different. The salary also is different. But if you enjoy it, you love it. Okay. All right.
You have to have this personality lah, maybe.
Yes.
Another question, last one, I think. From Grayson, first year, yeah? Grayson. Hello, sir. It is a common market practice that plenty of property managers hiring building managers with no related working background and recognized academic qualification to fill up building manager vacancy. So how do we ensure the quality of service? Knowing the fact that the vacancy needs to be filled up immediately, but the knowledge is impossible to be picked up quickly. So how to ensure the quality?
True. This is exactly one of the challenges which I raised just now earlier. There's no structured training, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of companies now, especially those who came in 2018, that means they're coming through the window period to become registered managers. A lot of them may not have the right experience to say that they can manage a building of certain standard, you know. For instance, you know, if the person is not trained in a technical area, it might not be easy for him to adopt, managing a sophisticated office building, for instance, you know. So a lot of people now have actually found that it's not easy to hire staff. And they actually try, as what Grayson was saying just now, they try to get just anybody in the market and hope that they can be trained. Okay, so this is where a lot of us are finding it a bit difficult when we are talking to non-degree in property management candidates. Okay, because to them, they think that the Strata Management Act is the key to big money, you know, but they don't know how to manage the building. They don't know how to write proper emails. They don't even know how to reply, to letters. So these are the soft skills which are missing at the moment. But those who actually come from degree in property management, if they have done valuation for at least 1 or 2 years, they are required to write to their clients to ask for documents. They are required to follow up every day, call the client and have some kind of skill to speak. They also have to write their own quotations. They are taught to negotiate on the fees.
So can I say that valuation is like a wading pool before you jump into the big pool of property management?
So back to the question just now, how do we actually ensure that the quality is not there? Now, the clients will be the one to decide on that. So when we hire people who are not capable, we are going to lose the contract unless we put the right people there. So it's not us who will decide that these are the right people or not. The clients will decide. So this is now already come to that stage. For the last 2 years, 2019 and 2020, we have separated the men from the boys. Okay, the boys now are collapsing because their contracts are being terminated because they don't have the right people who have the knowledge. Now, the registered property management companies, which are actually headed by valuers, are picking up because they have the background and training and the professionalism. So I hope that they will keep up. But again, as you know, in Malaysia boleh, You know, the rest of the practitioners will pick up and will be competitive with us, because that's how Malaysians are. You know, if you can't beat them, join them. So if they are good, we better be better than them. Okay, so this is what is happening in the market.
Yes. So it's very challenging to us, yeah, guys.
Yes.
You not only have to what do you call it, lead, but also have to maintain the speed or increase your speed, or else they will catch up with you. Yeah.
Yes, true. There's one more question there.
One more question, Grayson also. Follow up maybe. Will the board by any point of time consider to limit the maximum number of buildings to be managed by a property manager?
At the moment, no, there's no limit at the moment. No limit, because basically it all depends on how strong the company is. You see, a lot of companies have got a very small paid up capital. Okay, and you know, it's very difficult for them to grow. All right, some have got large paid up capital, so they go for bigger jobs, you know, so that they can justify the investment. So in terms of number of properties and all that, it all depends on whether or not we are in control. You know, the moment you reach 10, you're already losing control.
Correct.
It's not so easy. So if the company is capable, they have good resources, you know, and also good people on their team, I don't think it's a problem for them to manage.
I think this is back to economics again. If you learn economics, there is economies of scale, but up to a certain point, you will experience these economies of scale. It's no longer economical for you to what do you call it, manage too many buildings after a certain point.
Correct. You have to look for the correct cut-off point.
Yes. Okay, so Adzman, I think that's all. We have run about 30 minutes, 20 minutes out of our time, originally slotted time. But before you go, Adzman, can we take a group photo together with my students?
Yeah, sure.
Students, can you on your webcam? Bukan senang, it's not easy for us for Surveyor Adzman to drop by. Okay, I can see you. Everybody else, can you on? Yeah. Izzat, Edwin, come on. Grayson, Bear, Chinwen, okay. But there's only limited space. I think 20 of us only can fit. It's okay. Aini, Shuzan, come on. Aini, Shuzan, come on. I can see you. Shira, ke tu? Okay. Grayson, you're here. Grayson, okay. All right. Very quickly, everybody. Cheese. Wait. I forgot. Print screen. Yeah. So, okay. Again. Cheese. Okay. Let me try paste that and then. Oh, sorry. Oops. Wait. Sorry, yeah. Why can't I paste? Okay, wait. Okay, then maybe another one, yeah. Okay, one more. Everybody else, okay. Cheese. Okay, that's all. Okay, Surveyor Adzman, thank you so much for spending time with us, yeah.
Thank you, and good luck, everyone, and stay safe. And
you
hopefully, I'll see some of you applying to our firms.
Yeah, who knows? Okay, bye-bye, Surveyor Adzman.
Thank you. Take care. Waalaikumsalam. Good afternoon.
Okay, bye, everybody else. Bye, everyone. Stay safe. Bye, love.